I bought the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 palette about 2 months ago, and I still haven't done a full tutorial with it yet. So today I wanted to do a completely matte eye look, but I did a half cut crease as well to kind of make it a little bit of a 2016 style. I did go very in depth on the eyes as usual and how I do this half cut crease, so if you want to see how I got this look, go and keep on watching. I'm so excited to finally be doing a video with this palette. Whenever I use this palette, I usually pair it with another palette for some shimmers, but today I want to do an all matte look using this palette. So the eye primer I used is kind of creasing a little bit, so I'll pick up this vanilla shade on a crease brush and I'm just gonna pat right over kind of where my eyeshadow is creasing, and this just kind of helps to smooth down that creasing before I add on more and more shadow. So whenever I'm trying to get that really smoky blended 2016 look, you want to layer a lot of shadows and kind of build a gradient and slowly go deeper and deeper, which is why I love this palette for that, because you could do this with the warm shades up here or the cool shades. I think today I'm gonna use these more cooler shades, so I'm literally gonna go in order here. So I'm gonna take a fluffy crease brush in this shade and I'm gonna run that throughout my entire crease. This is my most used shade from the palette so far. I can use this if I'm doing like a glam look like today, or if I just want a soft shade in my crease, this is what I go for. And I will be dipping back into the shadow to build it up. And I'm just doing those kind of back and forth windshield wiper motions. And you want to make sure you get all the way into this inner crease. That's going to be important for the cut crease because you want to have some shadow in here that'll be above the cut crease. And this is my very first Patrick Ta palette, and I have just fallen so in love with the formula of these shadows. Again, all these shadows are matte in here and they just blend so beautifully. Now I'm going to take the next deepest shade again on the same brush, and that is also going to go in my crease, but I'm going to try to not place it as high as I did with that first shade. So I'm really just doing the same exact motions that I did with that first shade in my crease, and this is just building up that gradient of color. My brush has a lot of pigment on it right now, so I'm going to clean it off on my Sigma switch, and then I'm going to go back to the previous shade. You can see that these shadows are pretty powdery, so just make sure you tap off the excess shadow. So I have that first shade on my brush, and I'm just going to blend on top of everything. And it's okay if your eyeshadow looks a little sloppy at this point because we are going to do a half cut crease, which is going to kind of clean up some of that shadow. I'm going to go back to that first crease brush I used. I'm going to mix these two lightest shades together, and I'm going to use that to soften around these edges, so pretty much right underneath my brow. Sometimes I'll kind of lift up my eyebrow to blend right under here. I'm going to flip over that crease brush and I'm going to pick up the deepest brown. And I picked up quite a bit of shadow, and I'm going to press that on the outer part of my lid and connect it into my outer crease. So I started with pressing the shadow on my lid, and then once most of the product is off the brush is when I'll start kind of buffing that shade into the crease with little circular motions. Now I'm going to go back to my dirty, fluffy crease brush. I have nothing on it, and I'm just going to softly blend that into the crease. Now I'm picking up a little bit more of the dark brown, and I'm just really going to focus that on the outer lid and this outer part of my eye. Now for the fun part of cutting the crease, and I'm gonna do a half cut crease because I feel like that looks the best on my eye shape. So you're gonna need a flat concealer brush and then a liquid concealer. I'm using the Natasha Denona one. So I have a little bit of that concealer on the brush and I'm gonna stamp this across the inner part of my top lash line. Try not to get it on your lashes, just be careful with that. And then I'm going to look up and around, and wherever that concealer transferred to is where I'm going to fill in the rest of the cut crease. You can see when my face is relaxed, that line is kind of hidden. So that's why I want to put all of this concealer right in there. And for me, it helps to get really close to a mirror. And I'm just doing small patting motions. So right now I'm kind of adjusting the shape with the tip of the brush because I want you to be able to see the cut crease when my eye is relaxed. Now I'm going to take my finger and just tap over this concealer line that is merging with the shadow. So, and now I want to set that concealer on my lid. And at this point, you could kind of do any color you want. You can do a shimmer, you can do a matte, but since I'm using this palette, we're going to do an all matte look today again, which is so 2016. And I'm going to pick up the white on a flat lid brush, and that's going to go directly on top of the concealer. And I'm adding even more white to this very inner part of my lid because I like this to be super bright if I'm doing a gradient like this. Now I need something to blend this darker part with this lighter shade. So I'm going to pick up some of that first shade that I started with on my lid brush, and I'm just going to pat that over this line right here. And then I'm grabbing that crease brush that I used before with the dark shade, but I did not pick up any extra shadow, and just using that to blend along this edge as well. So, and now my gradient looks much smoother from this light to dark. I went ahead and did my under eye concealer, and then I cleaned up the eyeshadow with the concealer to make a nice line right there. Now I'm going to take a small firm blending brush and mix these two shades together, and I'm going to run that across my entire lower lash line. Now I'm going to take this flat definer brush in the deepest brown, and I'm going to wiggle this brush along the base of my lower lashes. So it looks like a harsh line right now. Then I'm going to go back to that small firm blending brush and just softly blend on top of that line. I still want this to look defined, but I do want it to be softened. Then I'm going to stamp more of that brown on the outer part of my top lash line, kind of as a little shadow liner. And if you want, you could totally do like a little half wing with this. A little shadow wing would be super cute. Now I'm going to take my highlighter, which is Rare Beauty Enlighten, and that's going to go in my inner corner. And then a little bit right under my brow. I went ahead and popped on some mascara and lashes, and for my lashes I'm wearing the Bright Lashes All Naturel. And here's a final close-up of this eye look. Here is what the full face looks like. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the KVD blush in Foxglove, and then I layered on a little bit of this bareMinerals highlighting blush in Rose Glow. So I have the matte blush kind of down here, but I put this glowy one kind of right underneath my eyes, and I love the pinky glow that it gives. And then on my lips, I'm wearing the Makeup by Mario lip liner in Smoky Pink with a little bit of this Anastasia lipstick in the shade Haze. It's a very, very nude color, so I topped that off with the new e.l.f. lip oil in Honey Talks. It's kind kind of like a brown, but it's super, super sheer. And that is the final look. I haven't done a half cut crease in so long, so it felt kind of weird doing it, but I think it looks so pretty. I loved getting to use this palette today. I use it pretty much every single time I use my makeup. I use at least one of the shades in there, whether it's like the black, the white, or that one like mid-tone neutral crease shade. That's perfect for me. This is definitely a new staple palette for me in my collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.